Welcome to E.D.J Studios. This is the E.D.J Podcast, and today we have a very well-rounded young man. He does a lot from what I could see from my research, brief research, but he writer, producer, host. He does everything. Hunter, say hello to the people, man.
Hey, people. What's up, people?
How do you say your last name? That's why I didn't say it, because I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm going to let you say.
I want to hear you try it.
Berubue?
Oh, I've never heard that version. Berube. Sorry,
Berube.
you even got me tripping.
English is my second language, so,
What's your first language?
Spanish. Yeah. I came to Lowell when I was 11.
Okay.
So I've been here since. And my English is good, but sometimes, the other side kicks in.
What part did you grow up in?
I first came to Worcester. I lasted there for like 6 months, and then I came right here to Centerville, and then been here since.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm going anywhere. I had the opportunity to go, but every time I'm like, you know what, I like it here.
It's a lot to like about Lowell.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I think people like you are doing a good job of showing Lowell.
Thank you.
In a different light. Can you tell me a little bit of what inspired you to focus on Lowell?
So I think Lowell gets a really bad rep.
It does. We kind of go in like waves. It kind of,
It bobs up and down.
Yeah.
Lowell is a trend-setting city.
Yes.
There is so much to love. There is a lot that goes on, a lot of bumps and bruises. One thing for me is the High on Crack Street documentary that was done on Lowell.
Yep.
It paints a very ugly picture about who we are.
Correct.
I think it paints an unfair version of who we are as well. And it's in our homeless population too. Like it's a nasty thing to just
blow out of proportion.
Blow way out of proportion for views.
Yes.
I also think that we're a great immigrant city. We're a gateway city.
Yes.
And we bring in, my great-grandparents came from Ireland, came to Ellis Island, and came up to Lowell to build the canals.
Oh, wow.
So my family grew up through that as well, through Lowell. Both my parents started out, they were not well off. They had to work their way up. I just learned from my dad the other day. He was like, at some points we were like, I don't know how we're going to pay for stuff.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't know you guys struggled that hard. So given now that I have the leisure of working on something like film, I want to use it to the benefit of making Lowell look really good.
Yes, I think Lowell, I think you have somewhere there's a lot to like about Lowell.
Yeah, that's their motto.
Not too much to
Lowell,
love. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. But when I saw that, I'm like, we could change the love part. We could change it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that I like about Lowell is you have all types of people, and we all live together. We all learn how to coexist. Asian, Spanish, Black, Brazilian. There's so many different cultures living in Lowell.
Absolutely.
That's what I like.
Too.
Yes, correct.
The Mayor of Lowell documentary I did.
Yes.
Sakari Chow, his wife Simone, she had a great quote that said she wanted to raise her kids in Lowell because it's like living with the entire world around you.
And I tell that to people. A lot of people like New York for that reason.
Too big,
but
too big for me.
It's just too much. I go to visit, but I cannot live there. So that's what I love about Lowell.
Overstimulating to go to New York.
Yes. I have two boys, and we went to New York maybe 3 weeks ago when they were on vacation for spring vacation, and we just went to go to Times Square. So we waited for nighttime because that's the real way to see Times Square.
Go. Yeah,
exactly. So I remember my two boys just getting out of the bus, and they were just like, "Wow, there's just so much light." And I was just like, "That right? If I could have taken a picture of that right there, I'm like, that is what captures Times Square. All the lights, but it's so much.
It's too much.
Yeah." It's just like you go see it for one day and then you're good. But that documentary that you did, how what inspired you to do that?
So that happened really organically. I graduated from Suffolk University in 2022 with broadcast journalism and film as my background. this would be my first project as an independent filmmaker and not as a student filmmaker.
Okay.
So I was covering the New England Golden Gloves with my camera crew, who also is from Suffolk.
Okay.
Two gentlemen from Russia, Murat and Dima. I would take a bullet for those two. Amazing men. Amazing. They helped me shoot for the boxing. I volunteer for the Golden Gloves, so that's how I was involved. Sakari Chow, the mayor of at the time, he was in the ring giving a citation, and they announced on the speakers, first Cambodian American mayor. And I remember Murat turning to me and being like, he's very animated, like, dude, like, talk to him. Like,
Yeah.
see if he wants to do a documentary. So then it was like Murat here, mayor right here. And I was like, okay, mayor, do you want to do a documentary? He is the coolest guy. He is very chill. He's very, very humble for someone to come from like war-torn refugee to world leader.
Yes.
Like world stage of a man.
Correct.
And his whole family is that way too. Very classy, very experienced, very polished in the best ways.
Nice.
So then he said, yeah, let's do it. No script. Just started following him around, went to City Hall, went to a few different Khmer events. We did the Lowell Folk Festival as well, because we were like, that is the point where we want to cover. This is not just about Sakari. This is also about the Cambodian Americans.
Yes.
And Lowell.
Yes.
So we tried to contextualize it as well. And then from building that, we did the Cambodian American artists. Because as interviewing Sakari, he said art is the one language everybody can understand.
Nice. And something they, I didn't know Cambodians were that big into that type of art, painting and stuff. I know about dancing and, the clothes that they wear and the mutant dancing and the clothes that they wear, but I didn't know they painted. I saw in the documentary
yes,
a painter.
Bernard.
Yes, and I was impressed. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was part of their culture. So
there's a lot to I didn't know anything about Khmer people.
And Lowell,
second largest population.
Yes.
Yeah, I visited Cambodia in January.
You went there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went with my very close friend and coworker, Kenneth Moore, who's also a producer. He's Cambodian American, and he visits almost every year. He's extraordinary. I could go on a tangent about how great Kenneth is, but he brought me over because he came into my office and was like, so you're shooting this documentary, you're going to come to Cambodia with me, right?
Only fitting. Right?
I know. And I was like, well, I can't say no.
Exactly.
So we were there for a month. They are some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yes.
People.
Yes.
Drop anything to help you, and you're a stranger.
Yes. And very funny. Very
funny.
Yes.
Great sense of humor.
Yes. I worked with a group of elderly Cambodians, and that's one thing I took from them. They were so funny and always had gifts. It was every time they saw me, they always had something to give me. Yeah.
That's very rare for you to be hanging with elder Khmer people.
Yes. My job, I worked for a transportation company, and we had this program that was all Khmer, basically, and I took care of the transportation. So I got to.
Where'd you transport them to?
Marlborough. It was from all over the place. All the way from Chelmsford, Lyttelton, all those surrounding towns.
Do you bring them to work, or
it's like a daycare kind of.
Okay.
They're older. They don't want to stay home. This gives them something to do. We take them on trips. We take them.
Nice. The beach.
Yes, we did in the summer. All that stuff.
Right. The Lowell Senior Center does something similar like that.
Yes.
Well, they have the bus system to pick them up, bring them.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, transportation. So we did all that for that specific program. So I got the pleasure to interact with them, and it was amazing. It was great. What I'm interested in people like you is you're following your dreams. Did you always know that this is what you wanted to do, or did you just stumble on it? Like me, I didn't always know that I wanted to do anything. I thought I was going to make it to baseball or be some type of athlete. That did not work out. This was never in my imagination. Was it the same for you?
I was going to be a professional monster truck driver. I'm just kidding.
Hey, you actually...
It's still in the cards.
Yes. My kids love monster trucks. So, hey.
I changed my GPS so that my car looks like a monster truck.
Oh, nice.
But that's, I think I knew before I knew. I remember having an iPod and hanging out with my neighbor Sarah, and we would do, I think it was called CoStar, which is a new separate app. But back then, this was like CoStar, where you could shoot video and have music, famous or popular music at the time. And we did like Call Me Maybe was our big thing. Yeah. And we would just take shots of each other, and we would try random creative stuff. Never considered it a career, but I always loved it. And I loved editing, and I loved putting the effects on stuff.
You love editing? Oh, man.
Oh, let's reel it in.
I've never heard those words before.
I love pieces of editing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Editing takes a soul out of you.
Yes, that's the point. It's just so time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
It's tedious painting. Work. Yes.
It's painting in motion.
Yes. That's one part of this that I do myself, and I'm doing it for other people, and I'm learning a lot about it. But I'm like, I can't wait so I could give this off to somebody.
The Mayor of Lowell was edited by Tyler Fennery, who's from Boston University. I was connected through a mutual friend. I worked at Boston University, their Academy for Media Productions. The summer I graduated with my very close friend, Ryan Gregory, who does film. He's like made it. He goes across nationally, works with Harley Davidson. He connected me with this guy. Very talented. And we have funding through our program, or through the Greater Lowell Community Foundation funds the Mayor of Lowell as a Fisker sponsor.
Oh, wow.
So they don't necessarily put funds towards it, but they allow us to get donations, and they bank it for us so it's safe, and then reimburse us for what we need. Nice. So I was able to find Tyler. Yeah, and he was... I like to work with passionate people. That
passion and dedication beats talent and anything else. All you have to do is have the will to do something. Mm-hmm. You'll get it done.
Yeah, exactly. If I can find someone who is passionate enough to not see barriers as blocking, but as barriers as a fun challenge, and a way to get through something.
Yes,
I like the people that we know it's going to get done.
Correct.
There's no doubt it's going to get done. It's how we get there. That's what we have to figure out.
Correct. Like I built the studio, and not just me. It was just me and my other buddy. He what I love about him was he had not, same thing with me. He had no idea about anything about podcasting, mics, nothing. He's a DJ, so he does music and things like that. But nothing to do with lighting and how to create, a podcast. And I told him, I wanted to do this. And the thing I loved about him the most was he's like, I don't know what you want to do, but whatever the vision you have, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he was never like, oh, but no. I would tell him something. He was never like, we can't do that. Or he's like, that's what you want to do? Okay, let's just figure that out.
Yes.
And I love.
What's his name?
David. His name is David. He's moved, and he's Khmer, and that's why he's not. You don't see him on camera. He's not around as much. It's just timing issues. Working it out, and soon everybody will see him. A lot of people don't know because he helped me build the studio, and then after he moved.
Where'd he move to?
I forget the town name, but it's like 2 hours away from here.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like Cambodia.
No. It's still close. So we still talk and we get together sometimes, but it's never
so hard.
Yes, it's not. And he just had a baby. Congratulations.
Oh, nice.
So it's just life is lifing. So sometimes things change, but he'll definitely be around, and hopefully we haven't even done an interview with him to like talk about the process or anything like that. So one day people will get to see the other person behind E.D.J Studios.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very important. Just finding somebody that has the passion is not gonna, break down when you hit roadblocks.
Right.
But I'm sorry, I did took off track, and like I said, this is what happens.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Monster truck. What happened from monster truck to filmmaking?
I've always been very outgoing. I am very natural in front of people. I did a lot of theater in middle school into high school. I was very involved in high school with a lot of different things, not necessarily film.
Okay.
It wasn't until I graduated and chose Suffolk University that I found my niche. And I knew I wanted to go to Suffolk because I visited TV Studio 73 and I met my future, not yet boss, Jerry
Okay.
Gleddy. That man's incredible. But my mom always tells the story of like, you walked in and that's how you knew you were like, this was your school. As soon as I walked into the studio, I was on my own. I was talking to people. I was like at home in that studio. And then it did become my home for the next 4 years. Freshman year into sophomore, I did a kind of a talk show. It was called Movie Checklist.
Okay.
And I reviewed movies.
Okay.
And my thing was, welcome back to Movie Checklist.
Nice.
I was like the Disney Channel.
Yeah. You know, I'm very interested in movies. Like I said, I would love to write at some point. So that's where like I see movies through. I'm like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
That's what I focus on.
I think to write.
Yes, I'm
the dialogue.
Yes, correct. Especially good ones. It's
I know.
mind blowing sometimes.
It's hard to write good stuff.
Yes. So to me, like it's I didn't know, you know, exactly how I'm gonna do this. I don't know. You know, like I said, English is my second language. I always get self-conscious about my spelling. I'm like, if you can't even write the language, how are you going to write?
Don't worry about that. That's what you have copy editor friends for.
You know, it's funny. My wife always says that to me. She's like, you focus on, because I start writing and then sometimes she's like, you waste so much time trying to edit. Just write it out. We'll figure it out after.
Just throw it up.
Yeah.
Put it on the paper.
Yeah. So
I struggled with that.
So that's my, my follow-up question. As soon as you knew, did you just go, or was there any fear of, we're in Lowell. It's not like, we're in Hollywood or New York where there's abundance of movie making and all this other stuff. Was there hesitation, or you just like, no?
That's such a good question. My first initial thought was there's no time for fear.
Yes.
You have no time to think about the what ifs and to think about what people are going to think.
Were you always like that?
Yes.
That is amazing.
In high school, I was very insecure, but I didn't let that show. There was so much of my character that I still wanted to explore. And then when I got to Suffolk gave me the free reign to just like go wild, figure out what you want to do.
Yeah. I admire that in people because so many of us are wasting time just on the what if or what are people gonna say, and instead of just going and doing exactly what you like, and then whatever happens, but at least you tried it.
Yeah.
And it took me till 30. I'm 35, and I started this right around 30. And it took me till I was 30 to be like, what am I have these thoughts
going on.
Exactly. I have all these things in my head. How am I gonna get it out? And then pandemic hit, and I was like, I was at home. I, always been working, always been a hard worker. I just came from work straight here.
Me too.
So I was like, if there's a time, this is it. You have the time. You don't have the excuse of I'm always busy. I got 2 kids, and I was at home, so
got to do it.
Exactly.
I think and going back to your question of like why do it in Lowell, I'm not necessarily looking for fame. I'm looking for success.
Difference. There's a difference.
Yeah. And I had to pull my ego out of the idea of like, you're going to make it through New York and Hollywood. It never appealed to me to move away from New England, because I think I'm successful because my community is successful.
Nice.
So if I can give back in Suffolk, Lowell, my parents, my friends, I have a very strong group of people backing me. I call it my army of love.
Nice.
Why would I leave that?
Yeah.
And if I can build an industry of film and like media here the way that Hollywood did,
yes,
it's no question I would stay here and do that.
And I think, not to say, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Hollywood. Who knows?
Too much.
You maybe don't want to be a part of it. But I think with the internet and how things have changed through social media, I think you don't need to move. Just got to put in the work. You could do it yourself. And there's a lot of talent here.
There's so much people just like us who are like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
what can I do?
Exactly.
And then you find those people.
Yeah.
And that's who I found on the Low Life for the web series that's coming out.
Nice. When is that coming out?
That's coming out very soon. I think it's May 26th or so.
Okay.
Don't clock me on that.
Yeah, it's...
But June 6th, Friday, June 6th, we have Lowell Films Baby, which is a special event by Dare to Imagine International Film Festival. So
Nice.
Dare to Imagine, I'm one of their co-directors for the festival and producer. I just joined this year. That's run by David Wandery, who's from Lowell. You should interview David.
Definitely. I would love to.
Brought me on to this Low Life.
Okay.
The Low Life web series is about a photographer from Lowell who is trying to get to New York City's Fashion Week, but his camera's broken.
Oh, that's a big problem.
In order to get the money for the camera, he has to join Lowell Crime.
Wow.
And it's a comedy drama. I'm very excited about it. We just released a behind the scenes video online today.
Yes.
Smiling the whole time.
Yes.
The amount of people on that set, that's just, nothing was hard. Everything was fun. It was like, wow, I'm around people who really care about what they're doing, and they know what role they are. They know when to stop goofing and just focus right on what you need to do.
Amazing.
It's a really good group. David's got, and Yenny. You'll have to meet Yenny. She works very closely with Tyree and David.
Yes, and I would like to take Tyree. I would like to thank Tyree for getting us together and a few more people. I'm trying to work.
Yeah, how did you find me?
But he told me he should have sent me a list of people. He's like, listen, you say you're interested in this. You should definitely reach out to all of these people, and that's what I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
To Tyree.
Yeah. Yes. I actually I wanted to do something. I had an idea of since there's all these movie makers that I didn't know around the area.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be just from Lowell, but I always wanted, there's 6 chairs. So I always wanted to get a group of you guys together and just, I don't know if you've seen the Round Table, the Hollywood something. I'm forgetting the name.
And they just discuss ideas.
Yeah, the ideas and just movies. I
would love to do that.
Yeah, so I that's something. So I'm kind of trying to do it. This is my scheme. And yes. So I started with Tyree, yourself, and I would like to get everybody and then have have a group of us just sit down and talk about what was done this year, what you like this year.
This year would be great.
Yes.
Because
there's so much going on.
So many of us have films this year.
Yes. So so that's kind of what my little brain is trying to make happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully we talk it into existence.
I think we could. I can send you David's contact and Yenny's.
Yes, definitely. I would love.
I'm sure Tyree might even have them on their list.
Yes,
I can send them.
Perfect. But back to what's your process like? I know you say you wanted to be an actor, but you kind of been doing the producer thing right now. What is your process for producing? Do you have a set way, or you're free going like this interview, which is going wherever?
First, I reach total zen.
It's chaos. I could imagine.
I become aware of every part of my being.
And then you
become aware of the outside world at the same time. My process is a great question. I definitely fling myself into.
Just throw yourself in.
Throw right into it. Don't have a plan, but have a dream and have the goal, and then try to make it realistic. So I have guardrails who are my friends that I'll throw it out, and then they start stitching it, and they're like, well, think about how this goes. So I'm working on a new film, but I won't give more to it because I need
Not yet.
I'm in the writing stage of it, but
Gotcha.
I sent it out to my writers, and it's like, what do you think? And they come back and help put these things into places. So my process is very network based.
Okay.
I rely heavily on the people I respect to hear what their opinion is. I'm always looking for harsh critique.
Very good.
I have a professor, Dan Widenick, who brought me on to do assistant directing for his short documentary Roxbury. Roxbury is about unaffordable housing and Roxbury residents that have lived there for generations that have to move out, and their kids won't be able to afford to live in the family house.
Oh, wow.
We interviewed the mayor of Boston. We interviewed lawyers. We interviewed residents that lived there. It was a very great experience. With working with him, I asked him for a letter of recommendation for a film festival or a film grant. And he said, for me, whenever I'm given critique, I like scrutinize myself, not negatively, but like the way you press a diamond.
Yes.
I will scrutinize and critique and focus on my aim until it's good enough to go it. I'm not doing perfect. That's what I'm trying to get out of. I do not do perfect.
Yes.
Good enough. My boss, Kevin Coughlin, right now, he's the one that taught me good enough. Just, and see, so far, my process so far, I've mentioned just people that have taught me something.
Yes.
It's all people based. And if I can take the hit without thinking something's personal, the other side of the process is just trusting this higher self, the one that's like, I've got you. There's no reason to just think for a second what my problem is. Oh man, I gotta write a script. What do you mean got to write? I get to write a script.
Exactly.
I have time in the day to do this.
Yes.
I'm not at war.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's just so much I'm grateful for.
Nice. And like I said, it's beautiful when you're doing what you love to do. No matter what stage that is. You know, if you're doing what you like to do, I feel like it's rewarding no matter what. You know, I know we all, you know, want to live off of this and become the biggest thing in the world. And, you know, I feel like you should never forget that, like you said, you get to do, you know,
you get to have all this.
Exactly.
You get to be in reality.
Exactly.
And you're in a good enough reality that not every day is awful, because some people have it that way.
Yes.
And doing the mayor of Lowell and feeling that layer of the Khmer Rouge and in feeling the areas. I went to the killing fields. I went to the killing caves, and just I still get choked up of the amount of evil. They don't have a choice. Their artwork was wiped out. Their people, if you wore glasses, if you could speak a second language, if you were related to a military family, anything. I went to, the Capitol has this school, middle school, that was used as a torture site for high-level officials. They turned a children's school into this death trap. And they would take the military leaders and their families, and they would torture the family in front of their military people and tell us. Wow. Tell us what you know so we can go. And this was them, their own people doing this to them.
You can't even imagine it.
There was a plaque for this white dude that died there from Australia. And my Kenneth was like, Hunter, he looks like you. Because he had the beard and the hair, and he was on the beach. The beach part doesn't look like me. But his story was that he was sailing across the world, kind of, I think, and he got stopped by, he sailed past Cambodia, and they arrested him and brought him in, and he was getting tortured. And it writes that the entire time he was tortured, he was joking.
Wow.
And they were like, who's your like leader? And he's like, Colonel Sanders.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know. And he would give CIA, and the CIA agents were just his friends and family.
Wow.
So he's like, my agent, Michael Gibelli, he knows the source of like the American secrets or something. Wow. And he was just trolling them.
Playing them.
Until his death.
Wow.
So I see like, wow, that's something I could connect to because he looked like me.
Is that a movie? Yeah.
That would be a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I gotta write that down.
Just from what you said, that's definitely something. Imagine that is
wow.
Horrific and hilarious at the same time. That is.
And who doesn't like an Australian accent?
Hey, exactly. That's amazing. What was The Mayor of Lowell your first film? That was your first. That
was my first short documentary.
Yes. How was you know, like you said, you were somewhere. Your friend told you, "Hey, talk to this person."
Yes.
How was that afterwards? Because didn't
Pure
have.
chaos.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Man.
Now you talk to this person. Now you have to get this done and do it.
Yeah.
How was that? Was it scary?
It's a delicate thing to tell the story of someone else's culture.
Yes.
It's a line that you do not want to stray too far away. In the early conversations were about, this is not a story to show just for white people to hear it.
This is for their people also.
This is a celebration of them. With my film, and what I found that I like the most about making films is the culture shock. I love to be culture shocked because it disrupts everything. I've known. And it's a spiritual growth for me. I'm very spiritual. The amount of joy I felt from being in Cambodia and the amount of just energy of these people that came off of me, I was like, they deserve to be celebrated. When I visited, there was this 2 women that were working in the market, and Kenneth was telling them, because they only spoke Khmer, oh, he's working on the documentary for the first Cambodian American mayor, and they were talking to him, and he turned, they said thank you, and I was like, well, I try not to be like, I'm not the focus of this,
yes,
and they were like, no, because you're telling a story that's not about our war. You're not just letting us be labeled, we were a war-torn country. You're giving us something that's coming after the war.
We're more than just that.
Mm-hmm. So much more.
Amazing. Very powerful. Wow. And did you know, like, when you reached out, did you know right away the responsibility, or did you figure it out and it hit you like a ton of bricks?
It hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh, man.
That is the best. See that? I love stories like that.
I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
I had no idea what any of this was going to be, because that's the part of, like, you kind of blindside yourself. Yeah. That's the only way you're going to do it, or get into doing it.
Yeah.
No time for fear.
Correct.
I can't be fearful that it's going to work out or not. I know it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's it.
I need to trust that I'm going to get lost in the process.
Correct. You don't, people listening to this that are going to listen to this. You have to understand, you're not going to have it all figured out, all step by step. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, well, I don't know this. Like, once you start, you'll figure it out, but you need to start first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you will be figuring it out and have no awareness that you are.
Yeah. I'm not gonna remember, but it's this guy who works a lot with Quentin Tarantino.
My cousin. I'm just kidding.
You kind of look like him. He just wears a hat.
I'm not that into feet.
But he works a lot, with a lot. I think he makes Spy Kicks. He wrote
Spy Kids.
Yeah. There's a lot. I'm blanking on his name.
I'm fangirling.
And I'm gonna send it to you. I actually sent it to Tyree as well. This interview that he did with Joe Rogan, and it was just about what we were talking about. He's like, I had no idea how any of this, all these movies were gonna be done or made. Half of it, nobody even believed in. The networks didn't believe in it, and he realized, like, that's just what it is. If I have the idea, I just have to start, and it will figure itself out, because he feels like it's technically not coming out of him. It's something
you're channeling
that wants this done. It's not even me anymore. It's just, people call it the muse, whatever you want to call it. I'm just being a vessel for this.
It's a vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got to take the ego out of it, because the ego's afraid.
Yes.
You, who you really are, is not afraid.
Correct.
Because you can't be afraid of yourself. Well, yes, of course you can, but you're afraid of the ego part.
Yes.
To your point of people won't believe.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm a filmmaker. I know in their voice
Yeah.
When it's like, oh yeah,
No, whatever.
like
it's like, yeah.
saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
Like I will have people like I'm talking about like I'm an idealist.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. Things work out in my favor and I'm blessed to have them work out. Even when I've been studying Buddhism as well to try and get that nothing's personal. Life is suffering.
Yep.
So be blessed with what you have. I have 2 arms that work, 2 legs that I have lungs and eyes that work as well. Like that, I wake up in the morning.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'm not excited to wake up.
Exactly.
But when I'm talking, I'm very idealistic. So I'm very confident, very boisterous. So some people are very ready to kill that.
Yeah. Yes.
And I know when they're going for that stab, instead of taking it as a stab, it's like I want to redirect it and channel it to motivate.
Yes. Fire. Just fire. Yep.
I love to be underestimated.
Yes, I'm the same way, and it's the same thing with this. I went through it. Even with friends, you go through it, and I've learned this, of course, over time. In the beginning, I was like, "You're supposed to be my friend," and then after it was just like, not to take it personal. They don't see it. It's not their fault.
Yeah,
I'm saying all,
but
these
I'm gonna
things.
show it to them.
Yes.
I'm gonna show them when it's done.
Yes, and it's not even on like just to like put the person down. It's more of like, you like with the studio, I told a lot of people about this idea. It took me years of just talking about it and nothing happening.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I drove people crazy. Like, man, you just talking about it. You've been talking about this for a while. You're not gonna do it. And then once it was done, I told those people, like, look,
I did it.
But it wasn't on like, see, I told you. It was more like, guys, look, like,
join.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Embrace.
Exactly.
I would love for you to
exactly.
see.
It's not malicious. It's just like, you didn't believe in it's okay, but look,
don't worry,
I did it
because I'm gonna show you, motherfucker.
Exactly. And it's very rewarding.
It's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Back to how my process works. I do believe that with energy and with art, there is a certain level of secrecy you have to play with. Like,
yes.
And I'm speaking very cryptic. I sometimes do. You can't share everything with everybody.
Yes.
Because their energy will kill what you're working on.
Yes.
There have been projects where I was so excited that before it was done, I started talking and it didn't get done.
It's funny. I asked Tyree the same question. On the writing aspect, you write this thing. It's personal. You write it by yourself. However long it takes is just you, your pen, or nowadays keypad, and it's just you by yourself. And then you have to show this to other people, and they're gonna critique it and say this or that, and you have to have the strength of just like, I get it, you don't see it, and hopefully they're able to not see it and still help out.
Yeah.
I'm very, very big on that. I never, when somebody tells me something, I've never go, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't see it, but whatever you need from me to make this happen, I will help.
Yes.
I just don't see it personally, but if you see it now, I have to see the passion, like we talked about earlier. And if I see the passion, I'm like, I don't see it, but just looking at you and how you're talking about it and how passionate, I believe it.
I can see it.
Yes.
Like whatever your energy's given off, I can feel it, and I know you're
going to make something. You're going to do something. So that's very, very important. And Tyree told me, it was I had to stop sharing as much just because people get in your head and you start changing things, and
one comment throws off the entire project.
Yes, and it might just like change so much that it's not even yours anymore.
Right.
So
I've had projects that have changed so much they're not mine, and then I just drop them. But I think that's okay.
Learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tricky, and you have to have kind of this self-confidence, and it has to be almost blind self-confidence.
You have to have a certain level of cockiness and narcissism.
Yes,
that your idea is good enough.
Yes, you just have to trust it.
Compelling enough.
Exactly. When you actually put out, any other projects that you have made that are actually out, the Mayor of Lowell, Cigs and Gigs, how is that process of like, okay, it's done, now it's time to put it out, and how do you feel like a week before it comes out? How are the nerves? Are you nervous? Are you not nervous? How do you deal with that?
That's a great question. Hmm.
Yeah, it's for me. I get very self-conscious and very nervous because that's when people are actually gonna critique it.
Yeah.
And I always say it's so brave for you to actually do it. You're putting yourself out there, and it could be your baby, it could be whatever, it could be your life story.
World War III.
Exactly, and people just gonna have negative thoughts. So I've always asked that question, even for like music artists. Like, you love it, you think it's good. Now the people are gonna actually decide if it's not.
True.
Because that's, at the end of the day, that's sadly, but it's true. The people decide if it's good or not.
Sometimes when I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, where when people tell me, like, I think I handle the negative comments better than I do the positive ones, because sometimes I don't believe they're telling the truth.
Yeah, I'm the same way, in the sense of I don't know how to deal with compliments. Like, I could deal with a person talking shit about me in a room better than the whole room just praising me. I have
a praise kink. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish. But yeah, it's very, very. It's a very daunting thing. I think it's so brave for artists to create something and put it out there. So I'm always interested on just
the only way I can get better at it is if I put it out there.
Just doing it.
I think it's especially with the mayor of Lowell, it's not for me to not share.
Yeah.
That is not a film.
Yeah.
Like, it is a service to this man, his family, and his community. This was a project of giving back to Lowell for what it's given me. And it gives me purpose. And figuring out the distribution is my current stage of where I am as a filmmaker in the trial and process of that. How do I get people to see it? I just submitted to 12 film festivals today.
Oh, wow. Wow. You know, a lot of people don't realize that that's sometimes the hardest part of everything. You can make it once you have it done. Now what? Now what do you you could have the best thing in the world, but you know, if people don't get to see it, nobody's ever gonna know. Yeah. So it's very tough.
That's hard. There's so much to being a filmmaker that is like I was not aware of. I had to make a budget the other day, and I had to learn how to do Excel sheets. And I was like, I just wanted to write. I just wanted to act. Like,
how did I get here?
But you gotta remember, like, that is the fun. That is the painting.
Yeah.
That is you're in it right now. You get to figure out a budget.
Yes.
You get to have the time to be able to do this.
How much rewarding is gonna be at the end? You know, me and my friend David, we used to come in here, and we would work on a wall and stick all this foam thing.
Yeah.
And we'll literally work 3 hours. We'll come back. You know, we're all working, so we couldn't be here every day. We'll do this on Friday. We'll meet back up on Tuesday, and everything will be everything will fall down, and we're like, Jesus, we have to start all over again. And at that moment, we were like trying to pull our heads out, and that's why I'm going bald. But, and then, you know, once we figured it out, and you know, we actually started recording from the studio, it was a very, very like cool satisfaction. And you kind of have to deal with the process, no matter how bad it is, because I feel like the harder it is, if you finish it, whether it blows up or not, you got through it and you finished.
You finished it. That's the hardest part. That is the difference between the filmmaker and the film student.
Yeah. Yep.
You can watch as many movies as you like. You can be the best movie buff. You can have whatever critique you'd like to have of the ones that made it.
Yeah.
If you don't take that step to finish one, you are just the film student.
Correct.
Which is a harsh reality.
Yeah.
But that's what I've learned from finishing Cigs and Gigs. I almost didn't finish that short film. I don't think I would have any of the current films or successes of the films had I not finished that one. And I remember calling the director, the co-director, Laura, being like, we're done. Like, I'm not finishing it. She's like, are you sure? And then I hung up and I called my mom and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. And she goes, nope, you are. You're doing it. You're finishing that film. And then I hung up and I called Laura back and went, okay, never mind. We're finishing it.
Man, the bonds you probably build with all these people because of all those trials that you go. I'm afraid to get into movies because it's just, I love solving problems. That's something I enjoy. I'm a masochist. I must enjoy pain. There's no other way to explain it. But I love solving problems. I don't know why. Whenever I have a problem, it just eats in my head.
Finish it.
Yeah, like I have to figure it out. The same thing with like a show. Like I'm one of those people that even if it's bad, even if it starts good and it gets bad, I have to finish. I already started. I'm invested in this. I have to finish.
I know what you're talking about.
And I put myself through it.
I watched She-Hulk.
Oh,
and I had to finish it.
Yeah.
It was painful.
Yeah. I thank God I didn't watch it. I didn't.
Oh, it's bad. Don't. I enjoyed not liking it, if that makes sense. I'm an MCU fan. Okay. I grew up loving all the So too. Now me and my friend Scott and I have been friends since pre-K. And our thing is almost every week we try to see a movie. And that's the one thing we do to hang out.
Nice.
So we're like huge MCU fans. And we'll still go and be like, well, it wasn't as bad as the last one. Like we're like praying, like, where did it go?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like it is
just so capitalism happened. Late stage capitalism happened.
Yeah.
If you can't make it into a plastic toy, then we're not going to sell it.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep recreating the same intellectual properties until these people you're just feeding. It's the same thing about our food system. You're feeding us slop.
Yeah.
We're getting movie slop right now.
Yeah, it's an issue. But there's still a lot of great movies out there. You just have to get off the typical way.
Yeah. There's a current trend right now of filmmakers going on tour on the road, taking their own projector. So recently, that's what Dare to Imagine is what we're trying to do. That's where we're going to be June 6th, Dragonfly Cafe, to show Mayor of Lowell, Tyrese Transference, Bailando, which is by
Bailando, yep.
And The Low Life. And we're bringing them a speaker. We're figuring out a projector. We're going to invest in having ways to just go to different places. So the Mayor of Lowell, we toured Lowell Catholic High School, where I went to school. Lowell High, when they had the Khmer New Year party. The Butler Middle School. And UMass Lowell has a Cambodian history class that we were invited to do. So we've been on tour through March into April. So it's like, just get out, like figure out how do we get seen, because we don't have time slots in AMC. Not saying I mean, hey, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Not many people go to AMC.
Yeah, it's tricky, but that's a great idea. Figure out a projector, do it yourself.
Make friends with the businesses around town.
Exactly. Talk about it. There's new ways. All you have to do is figure out there's new ways of doing this. You know, you create a big enough buzz. Your friends go watch it. It's bigger and bigger.
Just make a wave.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome. Talking about good movies and bad movies. What influenced you? From movies. What director? Is there any specific movie that you're like, this is, amazing. I want to do this. Or actor. You are an actor.
You know what my dream is? I would like to be the first director on Mars.
Wow.
And I want 80-year-old Zendaya to be my main character.
Wow.
And I want an Adam Sandler lookalike, because Adam Sandler, I don't know how long he'll live to be there.
Yeah, no.
So I want Zendaya and Adam Sandler lookalike, adjacent, to be in this dome paradise on Mars together. And it's apocalyptic. They're the last ones there. They're taking care of this garden. And they just bicker the whole time. And I want our generation, old farts, when they see the trailer being like, oh my God, Zendaya's in it. Like,
Adam Sandler.
yeah.
Hey,
that's Nigeria. I don't even remember what your question was.
no, it could be a comedy. Ideas just come that way.
Yes.
But no.
Oh, my influences.
Yes, out of movies. What who
have you ever heard of the documentary Murder Ball?
No.
You need to watch that.
But I have to watch it now.
So this is about the Paralympic USA rugby team versus the Canadian rugby team. And it's these guys in wheelchairs, and it's like decked monster truck wheelchairs.
Oh, wow.
Decked out. They're playing for gold. The year prior lost to Canada. Their coach is now the Canadian coach.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And they're going again to the finals against each other. So it's the build. It's following these characters. It is like like you could not have written a better story. This like the heroes USA, like so patriotic, and this perfect villain. And he's real.
Wow.
And he's like a scum. And they have. I don't want to give too much. I hope my animation is give you enough.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
What I take inspiration from is very experimental film.
Okay.
I like to go to Mill Number 5, rest in peace.
Okay.
The Luna Theater. Every Wednesday they have Weirdo Wednesday. Do you know about Weirdo Wednesday?
No, I did not know.
So Weirdo Wednesday, it started 7 or 8 years ago. I only recently joined a couple years ago. Weirdo Wednesday is you buy a ticket, you sit down.
You don't know
what movie you're watching.
That sounds awesome.
You get either a film from the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 2000s, low budget, international foreign film, a hit or a miss.
You don't know.
And the theater is packed.
Yeah, like I said, just as soon as you started talking about it, I'm like, I will sign myself up for that anytime.
Oh, it's so good.
There's nothing better than finding something and you were not expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I watch a movie and I don't know anything about it, and it just happens to be great, I'm like, yes.
You're like, yes.
Yeah.
Or it happens to be so bad that it's good.
Oh, yeah. That also happens as well.
I love those. Those I want to make that. I like John Waters.
Okay.
John Carpenter. So The Thing. I love practical effects. If I can make, that's what I want as a science fiction movie.
Okay.
Mars. I want the practical. I don't want any CGI in my films, unless of course there's reason to.
Okay.
I can be swayed. We won't talk in absolutes today.
Yes.
The John Waters, like, revolutionary for the time, first drag queens, first time talking about things outside of like the norms of gender and sexuality. Then now he's so ahead of his time. Now it's everything is not everything. I shouldn't exaggerate again in absolutes. But you now have a stable existence of these people that before were seen as freaks.
Yes.
And now it's less taboo.
Nice.
John Carpenter's side is this weird, like sci-fi, like you feel like you're there. The other thing being Alien. I love the Alien franchise.
Yes. I grew up on that one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yes.
She's
Great.
really hot.
Great. Yes.
I hope she's watching. We don't have to date, but I'll take you to coffee.
Yeah, I mean, how old is she now?
Does not matter.
With coffee, definitely.
I would treat her so right.
She's amazing.
Flowers whenever. Show up home.
Yeah, that was an amazing movie, and early for the I thought it was how they back then how they figured out how to do all those
all that weird stuff.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, I still don't even know. It'd be great to even watch a documentary of how they were made.
How they make all that stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, and they have like the alien bursts and like guts and stuff. Yeah. I watched a behind the scenes where they were like, yeah, that was supposed to be a one take. It didn't go well. We had to do it again in 2 weeks. The initial thing took us a month. So it's like, and we have less budget. So it's you get to find out these masterpiece, uncanny films that are cult classics barely made it.
Yes.
That gives me hope.
Yeah. I'm going to send you that interview. I'm so mad at myself. I'm not remembering the guy.
Spy Kids guy?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm going to send it to you.
That's cool.
It's all the great movies that he's been involved in, and it's all about stories about how it almost didn't happen. And you're like, how is that possible? How the studio didn't realize this was amazing. It's like, no, they didn't think Pulp Fiction. This was not gonna.
Yeah.
So
They didn't think it was going to do anything.
Exactly. So it's amazing.
That's what I mean by success.
Yeah.
That's what I want for success, not fame. Not for the like, oh, my Fast and Furious 11.
Yeah.
Like have you seen this like TerraVision? Have you seen this like cult following of Frankenhooker?
Yeah.
Have you seen Frankenhooker?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I love Frankenhooker.
That's a good one. Now acting, I know that's, number one passion. Do you have like a role that you like, I would love to play a role like this? Kind of sort of what kind of actor do you think you want to be? Even though I think the beauty of acting is you kind of just don't have really you want to, like Tom Hardy. Sometimes I'm like, why is he playing this? It makes no sense. But then you see it and you're like, great, he killed it.
I think I'd want to be like a villain.
Wow. Okay.
Like Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Where you love to hate her.
Yep.
And she's a fully developed character. Like you want her to die. Like why won't she die? But it's also like, what is she gonna do next?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great. That is one of the when there's a villain that is so bad that is good.
That it's good.
That you're just like, yeah.
And maybe a sci-fi villain.
Okay.
A little like I'm standing in the shadow. Like you don't know exactly who I am. Did you watch Teen Titans?
Yes.
Blade?
Yes.
I like Blade's character.
Yes. That's one movie I would love for them to try to remake, but I don't know.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. A really good show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's films, when you try to remake them, like you said, I was a big fan of Fast and the Furious. It's just gone so crazy. It's just like, you guys should have just stopped like at number 5. I'll give you up to like 5 or 6.
Do you know why they do so well?
No.
They do well because of international sales.
Yeah.
People outside America are like, yeah, like this is America.
And it's just at this point it's like so it's not original anymore. It's just yeah, it's sad. So I hate that about, I'm very like, if something's great and if you're not going to match that, don't even do it.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the late stage capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just corrupts it.
Terrible.
What
are we going to do about it?
A revolution.
Let's go.
Conscious awareness.
Yes.
That's what I want from, that's why I made another part of Mayor Lowell. There is so much media that is set on dividing us.
Yes.
There's so much about, let's fight about things that are going to keep us complacent.
Yeah.
So that we're not aware of what's really happening to us.
Yeah.
Where one side of the world, 1% of the world is going to just, there will be a resource war.
Yeah.
Water will become fully contaminated.
Yeah.
We can't be fighting over whose gender is what.
Yeah. Yeah. That part you said about pretty much like the algorithm just feeding you all this negativity and everything's bad and they do it because supposedly that's what sells the most.
It does. It's an addiction.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. But I feel like good stuff also has the same effect, but it has to be pure.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
substance.
Yeah, it has to be just something that's done purely. If you could feel when something's done with like Fast and the Furious, like we know this is just money making. It's not for the love of film anymore.
It's to sell the product.
Once it gets to that point, or if you start that way, whether you think it or not, people feel it. People are in tune. Yeah. People feel it. And if people would just make stuff for the love of it, I feel like we could change that. Negativity is what sells, because when people are doing why I wanted to interview you is because you're doing what you like, and you're not a rich, you're not a billionaire. Like I could tell you this is what you like to do, so it's pure. So that's what what I'm attracted to. That's what I like. That's what I want to interview. I don't have to understand it. It doesn't have to be something that I want to do. I just I love seeing somebody love to do something. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I and it's sad because a lot of people don't even try. They're afraid, and it's sad. Like I tell all my friends, is like, are you worried about all the money you spent in this studio and there's no money coming in? And I'm like, no, I don't look at it that way.
No, don't.
I look at it. I am getting to have conversations like we're having right now.
You're investing.
There's no way I would be able to have access to a person like you if I didn't have that. So I don't look at it as like I'm spending money because there's no money coming in. It's like, no, I'm doing what I like to do. And however I make that happen, that's just what I have to do.
Follow your gut.
Yes.
The pathway will open.
Yes.
And the universe will just provide as you go.
Yes.
And any speed bump on the way is just a reminder of I like what I do.
Yes.
I'm not going to let that deter.
Yeah. Man, listen, that was amazing. With that, I think we're going to close it there. I don't think I could those last words.
Rap or
yes.
sing a shindig.
But before we do, tell people all of the stuff that you work on, where they can find it. And hopefully, when is it? June 6th. Hopefully, somehow I could figure out a way to be there.
Oh yeah, I'll get you a ticket.
Perfect. That'll be great. Yeah, I'll clear it from now. Hopefully, I don't have nothing on there already for that date.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'll definitely would love to try. Like I said, I love watching a film, especially from passionate people. So let everybody know where they can find it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Cigs and Gigs, my first short film I made. You can find that on YouTube. Cigs, the letter N, Gigs. And you can find it on Ramcam Productions account. It's very easy to find. I love the name.
I love the name too.
Thank you. Mayor of Lowell, not yet released. So that June 6th Friday event at Dragonfly Cafe, you will be able to see it. Another coming up, and The Low Life, and Transference, and Bailando.
Nice.
Amazing people worked on these films.
Yes.
These are absolutely must-see from local filmmakers. If you're looking for that uncanny, for that zhuzh, the lack of slop, the polish, these are the movies to go see. Then after that, in September, there is the Dare to Imagine International Film Festival. So the weekend of September 4th to the 6th, we're going to be in Jamaica Plain. This is new for us. We're going to be at I forget the name of it.
No, do you have time to look it up? Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. I think it's the Lauren Greenhouse.
Nice.
The Dare to Imagine International Film Festival, September 4th to the 6th, will be at the Loring Greeno House in Jamaica Plain. This is the first time for us. This is an antique house that's still owned and operated for different events. They have movie nights. So we're bringing on this festival, hopefully, as an annual project. There, Mayor of Lowell will be seen. The Low Life will be seen. Cigs and Gigs as well. And Transference. And a bunch of other very talented local filmmakers. The Roxbury film I worked on will also be there. Suffolk will represent. And some Jamaica Plain artists, filmmakers will be there too. There's a beer garden that's there.
Oh, wow.
And there's going to be outside events. There's going to be a touring Cambodian American museum of like information that you can find from Amherst Media. There's also going to be there's going to be a traditional Khmer dance before the screening, and it's a blessing dance.
Wow.
So you are, by the end of it, going to be blessed.
Oh, nice.
Then the next weekend, September 14th to the 16th, we have the Lowell Annual International Film Festival, Dare to Imagine. That's where you're going to see new films coming in from not just the greater Lowell area, but internationally.
Nice.
That's our creme de la creme. You don't want to miss that. That's at the Middlesex Community College's Nancy and Robert. I'm going to get the right name for that. Because I'm not going to have Middlesex be like, you got that wrong.
I went to Middlesex.
President Phil Sisson ain't going to like me not knowing. He's really good. He's very supportive. All of Middlesex is very supportive of what we're doing. September 13th, September 14th to the 16th. It's a weekend. Dare to Imagine International Film Festival will be at the Richard and Nancy Donahue Family Academic Arts Center.
Nice.
On Central Street.
Nice.
That's our big hurrah. That's where we showed a private screening of Mayor of Lowell before it was done last year. We showed a private screening of The Lowell Life as well. So you're going to get never before seen stuff that you won't see online at these festivals.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great work, man. Keep it going. And
thank you.
Like I told Tyree, if there's anything I could help with, I don't know what I could help with, but if you could think of something I could help with
awesome,
or be involved in.
You doing this is help. Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime. And anybody that's working on anything, a film or anything, if I don't know about you, if I know about you, I'm gonna reach out. I have no shame. But if you know about me and you feel like you know I could help you in any way, please reach out. And I'm here to be a vessel to creativity, whatever that means, whatever that is exactly. Well, anything else you would like to say?
Stay hydrated.
There you guys have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to E.D.J Podcast, E.D.J Studios. Thank you.